Welcome to the Corporate Business Spiritual Truth Council, the platform where we assess spiritual activity by using the spiritual truth system, which is a useful system for critical thinking. You can use it for self evaluation or to review any situation. So basically, we're going to be breaking things down from a spiritual truth perspective, a sales perspective, an attempt to measure the state of self consciousness, which is the level of being, then offer some suggestions on how to get realigned with our inner wellness, our inner source energy that should be leading us to more joyful expansion and fulfillment as co creators, because it's all about finding that joyful zest for living. On today's episode, we'll be looking at a blog article on the My Joy Online website entitled Who Owns Ghana? A nation where local entrepreneurs is sacrificed on the altar of power. Whew, that's deep, boy. That's deep. So basically, he's questioning who owns Ghana because, from his current viewpoint, the people in position of power are sacrificing local business growth to gain more power amongst themselves, leaving out the majority of the people, the regular people. Who is responsible for sacrificing the opportunity of local enterprise and to what gain? These are all curious questions. Maybe people already know the answer to all the questions, or maybe they don't know and are in the dark. But let's break down the spiritual truth. Let's start with the vision. The Ghanaian local entrepreneurs have a dream, a real desire that they want to see come to reality, which is to build homegrown enterprises to the level that they're seen as the backbone of national development. They want to see indigenous enterprises empowered and protected by the system in their own land so they can keep a grip on their destiny, mainly from foreign influence. However, as much as they believe they would like to see this happen, their interpretation of the situation in reality is not with great confidence. From their point of view, if you're on the path of an entrepreneur as a local person, you're only building to be broken. If the reports say the economy is growing, it's not from being owned by the locals. They don't feel they are in control, but they do have the right idea. They want to invest in their local economy, they want to create jobs, they want to be part of the process of innovation so they can provide homegrown solutions and ultimately decrease foreign dominance. According to the indigenous entrepreneurs, the heart of the issue lies in thick, slow bureaucracy, which tends to weaponize its position. As locals, they believe they have to navigate a labyrinth of permits, shifting regulations, delayed approvals, and at times overt political interference. They really feel they're being strategically and systematically targeted, whilst foreign enterprises get to frequently operate within a more permissive environment. In summary, the indigenous entrepreneurs feel a real distance from their goal because of their high trend of businesses unable to sustain themselves and inevitably end up failing. As the Ghanaian economy grows and more Ghanaians are employed, they feel like they don't have the control they would like to wield being indigenous to the community. They see foreign owned businesses from China to Lebanon and beyond establish strong footholds in the economy, whilst they have to fight the system that's meant to protect them. As a consequence, the local entrepreneurs with the means will end up losing confidence and move their capital abroad, which will erode employment opportunities, diminish homegrown innovation and solutions from local enterprise, leaving the local economy exposed to more foreign dominance. The vibe I'm getting from the local entrepreneurs is a sense of unworthiness, definitely fear, but I would say well driven by pride. The fact that they're willing to pivot the unfavorable conditions when it's not suitable for them demonstrates the self awareness of their own value. They don't want to participate in a lose win paradigm when they're not going to feel the support from their own local government. And it's clear the desire to serve is there, reinforced by pride, anger, and even courage. But I don't think many are coming from a place of neutrality, as in willing to go for it, whether they succeed or don't succeed, like having a sense of duty. It seems like the challenges is too overwhelming because the opposition is the actual government. Realistically, it's impossible for these businesses to thrive if the government systems and processes is working against them. It's like the enterprises that governments are in favor of have the cheat code. Who's going to risk investing in that type of climate if you're in the position that is out of favor from the government? Most people will say it's a folly, it's not wise, it's not worth your investment. I think we can agree the sentiment of the local entrepreneurs is one of frustration, defeat, and failure, along with anxiety, fear, doubt, ignorance, and even lack of awareness. They feel like they have no power, no control to sway and influence the government to support their interests. In this case, no solutions have been offered, so I have to say the effect of determinism is in play. The social maps of genetic, social, and environmental determinism have conditioned indigenous entrepreneurs to accept a stimulus response paradigm where they feel they've exhausted all their options, therefore rendering themselves powerless with no control of the situation. This leads to being conditioned with reactive habits, drifting along in a state of hypnotic rhythm, consumed by negativity, reacting to the physical, social, and psychological weather they're exposed to. And when they do try to break out from the norm and make a change, it's met with an underestimation of personal effort that needed to be employed to be effective and make an impact. Because I can imagine that they've been operating from a behavior and personality ethic when this is a job for working on the individual character, meaning to overcome this, you have to dig and plan from a much deeper place. From the sales perspective, the indigenous entrepreneurs are facing real objections from the government that their own government's behavior is like an opposing force blocking their progress. They want to be represented by a government that supports their vision to the degree that they have their cooperation and protection. They feel like they should have the right to operate in a win win environment. As I've been saying, their sentiment is that the government would rather aid foreign enterprise than local enterprise. For whatever reason, I don't know. Maybe they don't want to see homegrown talent progress because they fear competition from new political challengers in the future. Maybe the price of foreign enterprise is just more lucrative and the government has simply been paid off. But let's turn it around. Could it be that the government is just not sold on the talent of the local entrepreneurs, that they're not sold on the products and service they produce enough? Or they could be sold on the products, but they're not sold on the actual indigenous entrepreneur. They're not sold on their competence to see out this vision. Or maybe they believe in one or two are capable. A minority can succeed, but when looking at the general collective group of local entrepreneurs, the majority, they feel as a whole, they lack the ability to succeed. So they could honestly feel if they did show more support, it would generally be a bad investment and would risk resources. Therefore, in their wisdom, believe that the lack of support is coming from a place of protecting the country as a whole from themselves. I don't know how long it's going to take or what is going to take for the indigenous entrepreneurs to awaken to their true power and worth, which is the power to awaken from the stimulus response state and step into the inner power of free will, of having the power to choose, despite how displeasing it appears in reality, their external environment. Because at some point, it needs to be done before it's too late. And quite frankly, if not now, when? However, it's important to realize that this is a collective problem, not just an individual problem. And I'm a firm believer that collective problems should be tackled by the collective. It should be a collective group effort. Anyway, no matter how many are involved, how can it be done? The first step would be to claim back the power you consciously or unconsciously gave away. Then you have to practically clarify your circle of influence and park the things of the circle of concern to the side. Then pour as much energy as you can into the state of proactivity, ignoring the weather of the external environment as much as you can. But before you do that, make sure you know your price, the price you're willing to sacrifice for the mission, because it will get sticky, it will get painful. And that's how the transformation can begin, by becoming your own first creator. By using your own imagination, you have the power to visualize an uncreative world of potential that lies within you. You also have the strength and ability to bring the world you visualize into existence. That's what the human experience is all about, the opportunity to live your dreams and keep expanding the dream in an endless, joyful journey of creation or co creation. But here's the catch: once you've decided what is wanted from your own imagination, from your own efforts, from that point on, achieving success is a matter of skillfully and tactfully inducing others to cooperate. In other words, how imaginative and creative can your ideas get to strategically win the support of your government? What tactics can you use? How skillful are you? Are you ethical or unethical? Will you do it by influence and persuasion or by force and coercion? Now, this is real life chess, the real Game of Thrones. Feel free to leave your answers in the comments. And remember, your answers are a direct reflection of you. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Until next time.